47 things only OG Valorant players will remember, like the fact that the economy used to allow you to hold 12,000 credits. Yep, let's go. OG screen selection. Crazy how everything looks different. Once you get in game, even the bots look different as well as the UI. Oh, guns? Completely different. You can see that silencers are gone from the Ghost and Phantom, I believe, because like CSGO, they originally wanted to be able to remove silencers, but it was later scrapped. The bots themselves also look extremely different. The abilities and graphics look extremely different, more reminiscent of CSGO, a realistic style, before Valorant went full send on the cartoon. You can see it more on the floor and roof textures here. What about Viper? Her fuel bar looked so weird. It was quite literally like a gas tank fuel bar style, but we don't really stop there. Jett used to be able to rope dash and absolutely destroy physics like there was no tomorrow. A lot of crazy plays were possible, just like this one. Even though this uses the gold gun, I wouldn't downplay it at all. There's so much wrong with this clip, including the big freaking Great Wall of China on the left that we call Old Icebox, but it doesn't really stop. Even the graphics post-launch during the first Icebox phase, as you can tell, still looked very, very different. These are version 2 of graphics that were eventually changed later. As for this clip, well, little axe. Literally just little axe. Sova before his shock darts were completely nerfed to the ground. I mean, they still work very well, but it was a lot easier to get clips like this one. I mean, Jett alone has a lot of things to her, but that's not even the focus of this clip. The focus of this clip is the absolute broken gun that we'd call a classic. I don't think this guy even left clicks once. He is just completely set on the right click, and that's all you needed with the classic. Just look how accurate this thing was. Even when he's missing, you can see the triple bullets whizzing past their head, giving him a haircut. That is how crazy it was. Also, you can tell a change in the UI design in the top right corner, which was the kill feed. Of course, Jett with the triple smokes, longer smokes, insta dash, double updraft, and the ult was still standard, but we'll get to that in just a second. Raze with the double nade, throwing one and then throwing two, just because Riot thought that was somehow fair. Moving on to other agent abilities, what about Sage when she used to be able to heal herself at Mach speed? First they reduced the speed, but then they reduced the total heal amount, and that's not counting her slow reduction, her wall reduction, and a million other things poor Sage got, but we'll count them as one for now. Next, if we freeze frame and take a close look, you can tell the boombot had a completely different texture, but as we unpause the clip and freeze frame again at the pullout animation, that is the Imperium knife, because there were plenty of beta skins that never made it into Valorant, including OG Reaver, Lux variants, as well as the Imperium collection. But funny enough, if we go back to the original clip that I started all this with, it's the fact that the spike would sometimes get stuck in the wall and you just couldn't pick it up because Riot Games. This next clip is hilarious because it is a bug abuse to stop a bug abuse. You can see that the camera is in an illegal spot, seeing the enemies before the barrier drop, and he did this to set a trap to stop a Jett from flying in on Viper's wall. Two OG bugs that people used to abuse but are now thankfully gone. But you know what's not gone? Today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Valorant Tracker, the #1 tool to use if you want to improve in Valorant. And why? Because as the name implies, you can track everything, even while in game. Let's say at the agent select, you can see just by hovering Cypher, it gives me all my info both on the map, all maps, and compares it to the global average, so I can see how do I stack up against other people. Talking about stacking up even in game, I can open up this beautiful tab to let me know, well, there's an Immortal on my team and I'm also fighting an Ascendant Gecko. Makes you feel 10 times cooler when you diff someone at a higher rank. But speaking of which, I can keep tabs on everything. By hitting tab, I get an extra nice little UI at the bottom to check my headshot percentage. That's the one I personally like, and it gives me this little task of always trying to make sure I hit more and more headshots every single game. But of course, that would be all in vain if I had to personally track it. I don't. Valorant Tracker does all that for me when it comes to the amount of guns, my headshot percentage per gun, per map, per agent, etc., and all this for free. So download Valorant Tracker using the link below. Whew, okay, I took a break, had some water, but let's get back into it. Cypher's Camera used to be able to pick up a gun. This one a lot of people know, so I'm not going to show multiple clips, but yes, throw a gun at Cypher's Camera, it picks it up, and then it goes John Wick style. For this next clip, now we can finally talk about Jett, the OG Jett, the triple smoke, the double updraft, the insta dash, and the infamous ult that would reset on right click. It's insane to think that that was the Jett that we used to have, and finally, she's been nerfed to the ground after so many changes. Seriously, I don't know if this is true. Outside of a rework, Jett is probably the most patch-focused changed agent. But moving from there, you used to be able to use NVIDIA highlights to delete flashes. By moving your hood off of the game using NVIDIA highlights, you could live stop flashes because it would see the flash as a hood overlay and remove it. Something else removed are the OG ranks in Valorant. Mercenary, Soldier, Veteran, Hero, Legend, Mythic, Immortal, and Valorant used to be the top rank, and all the icons looked vastly different. Now, in my personal opinion, these icons did look more cartoony and not as clean. And another little fun Easter egg is that Soldier technically kind of returned in its green form as the Ascendant rank later in the game's life cycle. Something about Jett's head used to be so good that you used to be able to fly across the maps like this one here, straight from spawn side behind barrier straight into garage with the amount of momentum just by jumping on her head. I don't understand why. I don't even understand how the bug is. I don't understand why this lighting used to look so bad, but hey, it is what it is. Moving on from there, the old original operator used to be way more broken. You can also see different agent icons on the very top. They used to also look different, but the op, let's talk about the op here. You used to be able to scope shoot at a lot faster pace. The op used to only cost 4,500 credits, and the biggest change most of you have probably forgotten is that the cap of credits in Valorant wasn't 9,000, it was 12,000. You used to be able to have 12,000 credits, meaning if a team had momentum like 7-3, they used to be able to buy op after op after op with very little resistance because the total amount of credits was very, very high and the op was much more powerful and it was much cheaper. Ranks used to be displayed on the scoreboard. I have no idea why Valorant hasn't reintroduced this at this point. Maybe it's just to stop bullying so you don't hit tab and then just bully your bottom frag gold Sova in a diamond lobby. Not entirely sure, or maybe in vice versa, calling someone boosted just because off of performance, but people are using Valorant Tracker anyway, which you should download using my link down below. But anyhow, the next thing here is the Bucky. The Bucky used to be absolutely broken, popularized by Shotgun Sage, absolutely dominating everyone in his lobby and even climbing to Immortal, only using this sniper Bucky because the range was absolutely massive. Also, as he gets flashed here, yep, flashes used to be a lot brighter until they were changed to be a lot darker. You used to actually get flashed IRL and lose eyesight per year playing Valorant. This next phase is all about running and gunning. Running and gunning was a huge problem in Valorant for a long time, and even way back when, this is what Shroud had to say about running and gunning.
And I can't wait for the big update to this game when they get rid of it, because they're gonna have to.
Well, they didn't have to, and not exactly, because the run and gun meta was broken for a long time, and it could be 50 points right here and now, but we're gonna summarize it real quick. Stinger meta was a thing, Frenzy meta was a thing, running and jumping was a thing, Judge had more accuracy, freaking Jett floating and being a helicopter had more accuracy, rope accuracy was also up, and eventually all of this came crumbling down till the latest Judge nerf that reduced its accuracy further, as well as its total bullet reservoir. So yeah, it could be a ton of points, but I wanted to summarize running and gunning into one thing, and as what you're seeing in the background, it is the very first ever battle pass in Valorant. If you have it, you have it. Maximum nostalgia, and only OG players will remember going through it. Oh, okay, listen, I'm a little bit out of breath, so we're going to slow it down. When we go to the next one, we're talking about Replication. This game mode came out quite a long time ago, and gone. It's literally gone. You can't even make it in a custom game. I don't know what Valorant is thinking, but their game modes got reduced into nothingness. They released Team Deathmatch and removed a bunch of other fun things. Of course, Replication being one of it. In case you don't know, basically one person would choose one agent and it would force everyone else to be replicated into that agent. Another game mode is something like Snowball Fight. It hasn't returned year over year. No holiday spirit, no nothing from the most boring company in the gaming industry as they continue to hold that title clearly. You can't even make this happen in a custom game. I guess my break was just me yapping about Riot being an L company sometimes. But anyways, as we move on to the final clip, we have a couple things here. One, you can see the Phantom still had 90 bullets in its reservoir. Only OGs will remember it being nerfed. Kind of, it's more of a recent change, but it is what it is. Also an illegal Cypher Camera, because Cypher Cameras could be 160 points on their own. There were literally Cypher Camera glitches everywhere. It completely littered Valorant. And finally, you can tell this is old split when it used to be an ugly duckling of a map. If you don't want to be an ugly duckling, make sure to hit the sub button. Okay, bye.